Hey guys, we're back once again here at CrossFit Garage, and I am talking to Tom Jenkins. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. He has a lot of interesting habits, and a new one, or maybe habits, how about hobbies? A new one that he picked up recently that I love, and we'll get into that one too. So you guys know here that we are trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. And actually, we're gonna hit all three of those today. So, Tom, tell me where you grew up.
So I grew up in Georgia.
Oh.
I'm a Georgia native.
So, because with your accent, I was thinking London. No. So,
I'm not even going to try. I was going to do a London accent. I was like, actually, no. I won't
so
do
my
that.
wife's British, and every time I try to do a British accent, she gives me side eye. She's like,
didn't know
"You
your
do
wife
not do that." Yeah. So she says, she'll say herb instead of herb. She'll put the H in there, and that's the only word that she'll say that sounds different. And every once in a while, she'll say migraine instead of migraine. But besides that, and she just recently, it's probably been 10 years, she got her citizenship. So technically, she can now vote. But,
Yeah, that's awesome.
She was very upset that the test was so easy.
Yeah.
She's Georgia Tech, so she's like, let's study for this thing. And they're like, can you say your name? Who was the president? What country do you live in? All right, you're in.
Oh.
She's like, what? That's it?
Yeah, nice.
All right, so you grew up in which city? Where were you?
I grew up in a town called Loganville. It's out kind of towards...
Where's Loganville?
Where's Loganville?
So wait, did you go to Brookwood? Where did you go to high
I went
school?
to Loganville High School.
Loganville High School, okay.
Yeah, but
so
it's
I
all
went to
that...
Parkview High School.
Oh, okay, you did.
Yeah, so we were like rivals from a different decade.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Parkview, Gwinnett, Walton County, right there next to each other.
Yeah.
So, I grew up there. We did live in a small town, Jefferson. This
County,
is like, not so small.
Jefferson City?
Jefferson City,
Yeah.
So I grew up there. My grandfather had a farm there, actually.
Oh,
So
what did he farm?
he had a horse farm.
Oh.
Yeah, so grew
Man.
up riding horses and.
So until I had daughters, I didn't understand that like girls love horses.
Yeah.
And there's this book we used to read read them to both my girls. It's called Princess Pony, and it's just a princess who likes ponies and their stories about. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it now. It's a princess and a pony, like the two things that every daughter.
Right.
So he has. Does he still have them now?
No, he
Okay.
sold the farm,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So did you get a hunt on it before he sold it, or were you too young? To hunt?
So he sold it when I was probably like 12, but he had a small pond. I think he had. Yeah, we got to go fishing, which I
Yeah.
loved. I grew up. That's where I grew up.
Did you stock it, or did it?
No, I guess he did. It was just there was fish there.
That's the fascinating thing. Like you'll have water, and you're like, how did fish get here?
I know. I'm sure he did stock it, but that's like some of the best fishing you can do.
You're right.
It's like
Small little pond,
small
nobody
little
goes.
pond. Yeah, I mean nobody. It's not no pressure on it.
And the fish are too stupid to understand that that's a
yeah, they
hook.
caught a lot
I'm
of
in.
fish, yeah.
So my wife's sister's husband, so my sister-in-law's husband, right? Not my brother-in-law, it's my sister-in-law's husband.
Yep.
Right? Or my wife's brother-in-law. There you go. Anyway, they farm, and he has got grass and whatever I don't know what he does in the field.
sod?
Yeah, not sod. I mean, he does. He's growing stuff, peanuts and wheat, and other, maybe not wheat. Sorry, Chris, if you ever listen to this, I know what you do.
sorghum
I
and
just
stuff,
cannot remember right now. Yeah, but he's got a pivot, so he waters them, and so he's got like 4 ponds that are just basically to collect water and spray, and there are some of the biggest fish in there. I'm like, what do you put? And he's like, no. And there's a stream that runs nearish, but. What?
Yeah.
I mean,
guess
birds
nature
poop
finds a
out.
way,
I don't.
guess,
It's the weirdest thing. Like, do you spontaneously combust into? Yeah, I don't know. So, did you grow up fishing in there then?
Yeah, I grew up fishing. That's where my dad and my grandfather taught me like the art of fishing.
Like for catfish, or were you doing bass fishing?
Bass fishing.
Okay, because it's very
primarily.
different.
Yeah, definitely. Bass fishing is what I grew up doing.
Yeah.
And then, so.
Well, did you ever do that one where they jump in the water and you put your hand in the hole, then you
No,
grab the...
I have not done the noodling yet.
Is that what it's
That's
called?
what it's called. Yeah, it terrifies me. Sticking my
Stick
hand
your hand in the hole.
like a giant snapping turtle or something down there, or a cottonmouth or something. No.
Yeah, it would be interesting to try, but so in some of the videos I've seen like I'm sure it's fake, but they're like, oh, first timer does a noodle fish or whatever they call it, right? So this girl jumps in and she takes a deep breath and goes underwater and sticks her hand. I'm like, okay, you just took a breath and you're underwater. What if you just can't get back out? I mean,
Right.
No.
And usually that's not like clear water either.
No.
Like she disappears.
Right,
or
it's
whatever.
brackish,
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't know what's down there. Do you know what's down there? Could be an alligator. It's just
Right.
Yeah, that's not very fun. So, so did you spend up until 12? You were out there fishing.
Yeah,
They taught you the.
Yeah.
So you learned patience.
Yes.
'Cause-
Yeah.
That's like
That's one of the biggest things with fishing.
Yeah.
is you gotta be patient. And then you know, because some days you may not catch fish
Not at all. And you have to learn. I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
And did I? Did I? Yes, I did. Yeah. So you've got kids now.
I do. Yeah.
Do they fish?
Yeah. They do some, not as much as I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but they like to go.
Yeah.
And we'll take them. My son and I just went down to Amelia Island and went fishing on back in the backwaters rivers there, catching reds and trout, and he had a blast.
Were you on a motorboat?
Yeah,
Kayak?
we were on a boat. Okay. We had a guide. With us taking
So I think
photos.
that's, if you're going to do it with your kids, like, it just, I would love to say that we can make more time for it. It's just time flies. You're like the Facebook memories. I hate when they pop. I love it and I hate it because they're like, hey, 10 years ago. I'm like, what? 10 years ago? I've only been fishing once with them in 10 years, right? So if you're going to do it, get a guide and do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you want them to have a good time.
Right.
To catch fish.
Because they're not going to go back. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is
so
boring.
that's
You spend all the
big.
time tying
Yes.
the
They get bored, distracted. I'm ready to go. It's hot. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. Whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
I took Evie over the summer, or was it the summer? It was cold, so it couldn't have been. She got into this phase where she's like, I want to do something epic. I'm like, okay. Do you want to do an adventure race with me? And usually they all say no. She's like, yes. I'm like, what?
Awesome.
And I said, what about fly fishing? You want to go fly fishing? And she's like, yes. I'm like, okay. I don't have any gear. I don't know where to go. I don't have licenses. I have nothing. So I hired a guide.
Yeah.
And we went to these streams that were no bigger than like maybe 2 sidewalks.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're fishing in here? I don't understand. What are we going to catch? And we caught all sorts of stuff. And we caught one that was about 1 foot long, and the guy was like, this is fantastic. I'm like, okay, so that's, I didn't know the scope of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're in a little teeny river, what's the scope? But yeah, so you hire a guide. Where did you find that guy? Was it a friend of a friend?
Yeah,
or?
actually, this guy was someone that I'd used before. Some guys in work and I would go down to Amelia Island.
So it's a different trip. Hey,
It's a
this
different
is
trip.
not.
This is not a guy's trip. Yeah. This is a family trip.
Right.
We'd used this guide before with like I said, buddies from work when we'd go, and Captain Piper's his name. And you're in Amelia Island and you want to go fishing, go look up Captain Piper. He'll put you on
There
fish.
you go.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And if you say Tom Jenkins sent me, he'll give you a 0% discount. So.
no, he will not give you a discount.
I
Probably
said
charge you
0%,
more.
yeah. Oh yeah, Tom, I know him.
That's right. Yeah, he's the
Ruined
one
my
who-
boat.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, so great time. I mean, I love, and that's the thing, like saltwater fishing or freshwater. Except I'm not a big deep sea fishing guy.
Yeah.
I do not like. Just
part?
just the seasickness
Yeah.
for me.
I don't like not seeing land.
Yes,
That's a little weird
I've
to me.
been like 4 times now, and every time I'm so excited about going and get out there, and even with all the beds and the
Dramamine.
thing, and it's like, no, it doesn't help me. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, I'm okay with just being on flatter water.
What about a cruise ship? Can you do cruise ship?
Yeah, I can do cruise ship. Yeah. That's not too bad.
It's,
yeah.
The rockiness isn't.
It's not bad. It's just, I mean, and the 4 times I went, it was like a little rough seas every time. So maybe I need to give it one more shot where it's not like, like 4 foot to 7 foot seas and just
Oh, man.
rocking around and banging around. It's just like,
No, that would be no fun. Now, did you go like I say ocean? I don't mean ocean. I mean the Atlantic, or were you in the
Atlantic.
Gulf?
Atlantic.
So I imagine the Gulf would be calmer, just by the sake that it's surrounded by
Maybe.
land. Like,
I mean, I think it just depends if there's storm out there,
Well,
whatever, there could
true.
be. But yeah, I've never been deep sea fishing in the Gulf. It's always been the
what about scuba
Atlantic.
diving?
I've never been scuba diving.
No?
Snorkeling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess if you hold your breath long enough, like,
you go
yeah,
down there,
we're
yeah.
down there. We used to do that as a kid. It was fun. It was interesting. But I mean, it runs out of its funness fast. Though I think like spearfishing
Yes.
would be neat.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, except when you like shoot a fish and blood's everywhere, then
The shark comes.
right. They're like, I smelled that from a mile away.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, I'm running.
You keep turning around.
and
like,
there's no
this
way.
way.
Yeah, you're like you can't really get away from that
Yeah.
stuff. No. All right, so you grew up in Loganville.
Yeah.
Went to Loganville High School. Did you
Yep.
play sports in Loganville?
Yeah,
High
I played. Did track and field.
Ooh.
I did basketball and football.
Okay, what'd you run-
baseball too, a little bit too.
Hey,
but
you were
I still
everything.
play-
Did you letter in all of them?
No, so in high school I stuck to basketball and football. I kind
Yeah.
of had to shrink my, it was
Right.
a smaller school, like I guess. I mean, I don't know. I look around here. I'm in Cobb, but I don't know if kids play multiple sports like that now.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
How old's your oldest?
He's 13. So he's
Yeah.
8th grade.
So he's starting. Has he narrowed down his sports as well?
Yeah, we've done football. Right now we're doing flag football. He's in tackle football. He likes flag, so we might jump back into tackle. We'll see.
Yeah.
But basketball, he's getting into that.
Yeah.
So he's working on his shot. But his main sport's been baseball. That's
Yeah.
what he's growing up playing. So,
Okay, so he's playing the big three for America. Soccer's not one of them, but
Yeah, I know.
So I did a podcast with my kids and Lila, who plays on Evie's team, or they play together or whatever, on soccer in Georgia and just playing the club sports.
Yeah.
And is it worth it? So I got 2 in college, 2 in high school. And like, you guys worked hard to play soccer. Was this whole thing worth it? And so it's a weird thing as a parent to figure out, like, do I want my kid to be super awesome at this, or do I want them to learn a lesson? Like, what is it? So when you played sports, what was your like end goal
Yeah.
of sports? And then the other question to go along with it, what do you think you're trying to help your kid get inside of sports?
Yeah, that's good. So I love just being a part of the team. I mean, to me, that was the best part. My buddies were all doing it. So I was
Right.
like, I just wanted to hang around. And honestly, for me, like, I wasn't the most athletic. I mean,
Really?
I wasn't.
Because you're super athletic in here. So that's
I
funny
mean,
that
I
you
had athletic ability,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like the guy's going to take the shot, or I don't know. I mean, I had to work at it. I think
Yeah.
that's I think some of the guys I saw, like, they just amazing athletes, and they just everything. And my son's kind of like that. He's very successful in a lot of things he
That's your
goes
wife
for.
then?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, his my whole side of the family. But I had to really work for it, you
Yeah.
know. And so, but I love being a part of the team. That was the biggest thing for me. It just having my friends around me playing,
Yes.
being in the locker room,
Right.
And just being, playing on team sports, competitiveness, all that was just it was awesome. I
And
loved
so
it.
you chose basketball because you're so tall.
Yeah, I mean, basketball. Funny, I didn't start playing basketball till I think really middle school. My middle school coach is now my stepdad.
Okay, yeah.
My parents divorced, and my mom. It's funny. My mom brought me to one of those basketball meetings, and I guess he
They
called
ended up
her
meeting,
eye,
yeah.
and then we didn't date during the season, but it was after the season. He asked me, he's like, "Hey, would you mind if I?"
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hey, so all of you people out there that do not live in Georgia, I just want to say there is a thing such as manners.
Yeah.
And maybe Georgia takes it too far, but we still open doors for ladies. We still,
Absolutely.
whatever we do, I don't know the other things we do.
Yeah.
We just take it. We
little
say
Southern
yes, ma'am.
hospitality,
Right.
like taking care of it, yeah.
You have an adult male asking a kid a question that doesn't necessarily need to be asked, but that's just what we do in the South.
Yeah.
And and it's a good thing. I think
Yeah.
people have gotten away from manners are there for a reason. Be nice to people. It takes
Yeah.
nothing to be kind, and it takes nothing to be extra courteous. Just
Yeah.
and it put a smile on people's face. Okay, so that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. So I mean, and they've been married now 20 years, I think, 22 years or something.
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that, whatever it is.
And they in Loganville?
They're in Loganville. Yeah. He was my 8th grade basketball coach, and he's the one who really worked with and got me to where I could actually play. I couldn't even
Right.
really shoot. I was shooting 2 hands.
Yeah.
And stuff. So he worked on my, and then by high school time I was starter and playing and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
So this is the thing that I'll tell everybody: if you want to shortcut a process, hire a mentor. So this step at the time just a coach, but he is mentoring you, not just hey you're on the team, but look, let me help you a little bit more and give you some fine tweaks to whatever it is you need to do, and you shortcut the process
Yeah. I
of
love that.
becoming whatever it is you want to be, because one, they're already there, or they already know the steps to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then it takes those 10,000 hours if you want to be super awesome. If you
Right.
just want to be pretty good, just get out there and try real hard. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think another thing would be to know what you're good at. So if you did you have a particular thing that you're like, I'm the person who will pass really well.
Yeah, no, I was more of the I didn't have a great shot, and it wasn't a good score or whatever. I mean, I could do that, but I was more defense. Coach be like, I need the ball. I'm
Yeah.
like, you need
Go
the ball?
hustle and get the
He's like,
ball.
I'm going to get you the ball. All right, I'll get you the ball. I'd go get a steal, a rebound, whatever. I was physical. I need to get a foul, whatever. I was, so that was more my game.
That's pretty cool. So I vertically challenged. So the only thing I really did well was steal the ball, because everyone has to dribble to the ground, and I'm closer.
Yeah.
So I can take the ball,
the
but
ball.
I did nothing else very well in there. So you said you also did track and field. What did you run? Or
So in track and field, I did triple jump.
Ooh.
And then the 400 meter, 800 meter. And
Did you do
I
the
did
triple-
shock put too
Ooh.
for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
did you with the whole spin, or did
Yeah,
you
with
just
the whole
kick
spin.
backwards?
I
Yeah.
did what did I do? I think I was more like the scoot.
Scoot backwards. And
It was
then,
like a 1, 2, 3 shoot
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of thing. I don't know. But yeah, so that was fun. That was a fun time, and I always loved to run. I mean, even after that, and after I got out of high school and college, I mean, running was more of what I said, kind of distance running, running 5Ks, 10Ks. Never really got past 10Ks, but just loved running. That kind of my choice of kind of fitness was running.
Yeah. So that's going to bring us eventually to how you ended up doing CrossFit. But I'm going to throw out a little fishing line here for you too. So a couple of us do adventure races.
Okay.
Which is running. So you run bike and canoe in the woods, and they hand you a topo map, and you have a compass, and you run around and get checkpoints in the woods.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
On September 23rd, a couple of us are doing the Savage Race.
Are you about to invite me?
Yeah.
I'll be on vacation.
I know it's also.
Let's go ahead. I want to hear more about it.
It's also fall break or something.
Yeah.
And then a couple of us, there's two of us probably going to do the Bear. So it's the Blairsville Adventure Race.
Yes, I've heard about that one.
Either October or November, I think it's November. There's another race, and it's in like not Ackworth, but just like maybe White's, Georgia or something. It's up north of us.
Okay.
But you should do it. It's fun. There's a really easy one coming up. It'll be it's St. Patrick's Day. So Randy Skeen did it with me, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do this thing. You think I could do it?" I'm like, "You've been CrossFitting for a year. Yeah, you got this."
Yeah.
And then I proceeded to him and Brad McDonald, who used to be a member. I was like, you don't need your water for this. We're just going to run out and get something and come back. 2 hours later, we're coming back, and they're like, I'm dying, I'm thirsty. Can I drink the sweat off your face? I'm like, I am so sorry. So I burned my own team. But that's a flat race.
Yeah.
So do you have a mountain bike?
I do.
See? Hey, you're in. It's fun. Yeah. If you like to be out on the run. Yeah. So there's somebody in here that I can't think of it, who did a shot put as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have all these commonalities and all of this. So if you go back and listen to every one of the podcasts,
I'll find out who that is, and we can go talk shot put.
Right.
That I did in high school.
Right. So I did pole vault in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought, I'm pretty decent at this. Let me go to college and try it. So I tried to pole vault at Georgia Tech. Yeah, it did not go well.
Didn't go well.
No, not at all. They're like, you're good for like a redneck farmer, kid, but this is college. We're like, in the ACC, we're not this. Yeah, it didn't go very well. So
hey, you tried that.
I did, and they. But do you know how much the average professional pole vaulter gets paid?
I'm gonna guess it's not much.
Zero. There aren't any. So I was like, I should probably get this electrical engineering degree because I think that's going to do me more.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
a longer. So did you play any of these sports going to college?
No, I didn't. I mean, a little bit in club stuff,
Yeah.
but nothing. I didn't play. I was not that good.
When I found in college, so in intramurals for the fraternity anyway, there would be an A League. I'm super serious. B League, so it's JV. I'm sort of serious, so I'm a freshman. And then C League. That's the beer league. I'm like, wait a minute. So there's a league where you guys play with beer in your hand while you're actually playing? I'm like,
It's like kickball.
Yeah, we did softball, and there was some soccer. I'm like, I could get into that. Nobody's really taking it serious. Yeah, but it was also Georgia Tech. So they could calculate the angle of the Frisbee, going from here to there, but nobody could catch it. Yeah, so it was probably not the best.
Georgia Tech's got some athletes.
They do, yeah. But I mean the student body.
The student body.
Yes, I mean you can buy athletes anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so your son, you have a daughter as well, right?
Yeah, I have a daughter and a son. My son plays, like I said, his main sport is baseball and flag football. I've coached both of them.
Okay.
But this season I'm coaching flag football, like there in the fall with him, which I really enjoy. But yeah, I mean, I think for me with the kids in sports, and this is no knock on other parents that go all in and
knock them, because I was one of them.
I don't think I can devote my life or my weekends and all these different things to just running them everywhere, and then they end up like, I've just seen it with people in our family and other friends that their kids just end up hating it. Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to. They just get burnt out, and so. I think the cadence we've been on with sports is just, keeping to one in the season, like keep it at rec league. And if he really, like Braden really like wants to get into something, I mean, I'll support him in that. But right now he's like, I love what I'm doing. Like, I love playing rec. I'm like, and I'm kind of like, that's hard because I'm like, I really, I hope that you can make, the high school team and all this stuff. And I know, like, especially in combat, it's so competitive. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you will, but but if you don't, you know what? There's a rec, for at yeah, 15, 16, all the way up to 18,
Right.
and we can keep playing if you want.
Well, and baseball in Georgia is a
It's huge.
different animal, especially you're in Cobb. So now you've got like Chase Beam has Titan Baseball Academy.
Yeah.
He literally has an entire business dedicated to
Yes.
helping kids get better at baseball outside of the season or inside the season.
Yeah,
And you're
they
like,
come. I talked to him. They come from all over, like
Yes.
Ohio and across. He's like, I need to come train with you. I'm like,
right.
That's.
Have you
crazy.
read his book?
No, I didn't
He
know
did
that
a, yeah,
book.
he did a, I don't know, not an ebook because you can buy it,
Yeah.
but it's like autobiography, but you like, I don't know, a ghostwriter did it. So
Yeah.
he did the outline and then she kind of filled in the gaps or
Okay,
whatever, and
yeah,
they went
cool.
back and forth. It was very interesting to like see someone else's perspective inside of it, like, I'm going to drive hard to get into the majors, and what does it look like, and how does it get there? And you're like, this. So now I knew nothing about baseball. I played like a tiny little teeny bit when I was like 6 or something, right? So apparently there's something as a catcher called your pop time.
Oh yeah.
When-
I guess you pop up.
That's right. You pop up and throw it to second
Yeah,
base. So I'm always bringing that up. He's like, seriously, dude, stop
Pop
it.
time.
Yeah, like, I sound so technical. I have no idea what I'm
What's
talking
your pop
about.
time? What's your best pop
Yeah,
time?
what do you? I always tell him like, hey, back squat will help your pop time. And he gives me some side eye. He's like, well, it will actually, but
Yeah.
So I think parents, man, listen to what Tom's saying in this. It doesn't have to be what like cram it in their face. I've had 4 kids go through club soccer, and we crammed it in their face. I was that guy that yelled at kids, parents, refs, and until somebody scooted away from me, and I was like, damn it, am I that guy? And he's like, yeah, you're the guy. I'm like, oh, son of a, and I did a 360-degree turn. No, not 180. I love when people say that. I changed my life around at 360 degrees. They're like, so you're back where you started?
That's right.
I'm right back into alcohol and drugs. Yeah. Yeah, so I changed, and I started apologizing to people, and they're like, you don't have to say you're sorry. And then the wife is over there going, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
yeah.
Yeah, the husband's like, nah, I get it. I'm like, no, I was such a jerk.
That's good. You like became kind of
Oh, yeah.
aware and kind of.
It just didn't make sense to me that, well, yes,
Yeah.
I should have been more aware. I'm gonna say for all you parents out there that aren't aware, here's your opportunity, be aware.
Yeah.
Have your wife video you in a game, and then go back and watch what you say. If you're happy with it, okay, good on you. If you're
Yeah.
not, then you're like the rest of us.
Yeah, right. At the ball fields, they have this sign like, "Parents, remember, your kid does not play for the Braves. These are kids. The umpires are just It's like common sense stuff, but people lose their minds.
Right. Well, it is common sense, but then you're like, my kid's in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the other thing that I find fascinating, so I've got 2 kids at college. Olivia's at Auburn. She has a scholarship for being smart, and so it still costs something like $15,000 for the semester. I'm like, damn it, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Evan has the Hope Scholarship, or Zell Miller or whatever, and UGA, it's supposed to be like free, but it's not free. They come up with ways to have you pay fees. They're like, you're not really paying tuition, so give us some fee money. So it's $1,000. So if you think about it, so if your kid stays in state and has those grades, and let's say they go to school for 5 years, that's $5,000 in tuition-ish,
Yeah.
right? If you're going to play club sports, so we pay about $2,000 for a season for club soccer.
Yeah.
So how long did they play club soccer? Maybe 10 years. That's $20,000 right there. So if you're like, I'm going to use sports to get into school, how about just put the money to 529?
29. Yeah, you'll be all right.
And then just, right.
Right. Or pay the $200 or $300 to put your kid in rec or whatever.
Right. So that's the thing. So you're looking for your son to enjoy the team, which
Yeah.
he's doing.
Yeah.
And then you want him to have that camaraderie experience.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a club sport to have that.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, and you can find, I think, and whether it's soccer or basketball or baseball, whatever, there's probably competitive rec leagues. I mean, I know like the baseball league we're in, like all the travel ball kids come and play because all their friends are playing there. So we get that. I mean, so it's competitive still, but it's not I'm going to go every weekend. And again, that's our decision. We decided we're not going to live our life that way. We got other things
good.
going on,
Yeah.
and that's just what we want, how we want to live.
Do you guys have a do you have a family value list that you have? Like, is it written down?
It's not written down.
You should write it down.
I should write it down.
Because you're already living it, right?
Yeah.
And your kids probably know it, but it's helpful for them to see it.
Yeah.
So we made up a McCann's Kid anchor. So my kids are having, like any kid, struggling through middle school and elementary school and just emotions and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat them down, like businesses do this. Like the motto for the gym is we are happy, humble, helpful people
Yeah.
who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. Okay, well, when someone comes up to me and says, hey, do you think you'd like to sell steroids? I'm like, well, does that help us be fit into our 90s? I can say no really easy, right? Or do you want to have a high competition, like, you know, competition with people that like have a name in CrossFit, like Rich Froning is coming, and Matt Frazier. Happy, humble, helpful. I mean, I don't think that fits into anything we do. I mean, those two guys are probably super nice, but the people who think they're Rich Froning are just jerks, right? And I get that doesn't, right? So we can say no to a lot of things because we have that bit written down. We have other things written down, but as a family, you already know it. Hey, we respect our family time together. We're not going to drive. And so what does that look like as a value? Family comes first over sports or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it really is. I've thought about that and read different books that recommend those kind of things, family mission statements, things like that, which I love. And but yeah, I mean, I do think that that's just, again, I know for all the people out there that do go travel and do these things, and their kids love it. Oh, great, and they're going to be, and I hope they seriously turn into MLB players and the best soccer players and all this stuff. But I mean, I don't have any professional athletes in my side. I mean, I'm thinking the genetics of it.
Right. Not even that, but I'll say it for all those parents out there. You're being nice on it. Parents, don't worry about it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
There is always, this is the trick of it. There's always a harder or better team.
Oh yeah.
So if your kid is playing rec, so again, rec baseball is actually like travel, like it's already hard.
Yeah.
Like baseball is a whole different animal. You take everything you know about any other sport. When you say baseball, multiply it by 10. It's already like a tough thing to do. But so my kids played at Impact Soccer, and they played in a club or a league called Georgia Soccer. Other clubs in Georgia spun off another system called the SCCL, so the Southern Conference Champion League or something, I don't know. And so teams started moving to that, right? So now our team is winning because it's just weaker teams. But if we go to the SCCL and start playing, we're going to start losing because they're harder teams.
And then there's fish.
Right. And so there's SCCL 3, 2, 1, and then SCCL Club, and that's the best in that. But when you're the winner of that, you can move to DPL or RPL or ECNL. I'm like,
craziness.
So it just keeps going. You will eventually get to a place where your kid hates it.
Yeah.
Your kid is the one on the bench.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's horrible. Now they don't even enjoy it.
Yeah. That's what we've seen over and over again. And so, but I do love that my son enjoys it, loves being a part of the team.
Right. Let's just see, if there's a lesson to learn. So the thing that I think I've come up with, and I wish I had this at the beginning, is I want my kids to have adversity in their life because it builds a better person. Sure. But I don't want the adversity to be real adversity, like your parents are dead. That's real adversity, and there's no coming back from that sort of stuff, right? Or we lost everything, we need to live in a cardboard box. That's real adversity. I don't want that for them. What I want is fake adversity that feels like adversity, like, hey, you need to work hard to get to the tryouts to make the team.
Yeah.
That's adversity. But if you don't make it, you know what? Your parents are still alive, you still have a house, you're still going to school. There's really nothing wrong, but it helps create a character builder in them.
Yeah.
Some friction.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what sports in general will do for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It does build that. I think, and you name it, any sport, you're going to fail. Like, failure is good. Like, you're going to hope, and then what you do with it. What do you do with that failure? And I think coaches, parents need to, we really need to help our kids frame that better than what maybe we do sometimes. And I'm speaking for myself, being able to, hey, look, failure, like, wow, what are you going to do with this?
Right.
We got to work harder. We got to work on this one thing. What, how do you handle mentally the failure piece of, you're going to wallow in the failure? You're going to,
how does that help?
Yeah.
So I've learned I listen to a lot of podcasts, and this one guy, it's probably Ben from Chasing Excellence, Ben Bergeron, but he was talking about being a transformational coach or a transactional coach. So transactional coach is, did you win? Did you catch it? Right? I need that moment, right? Transformational is, okay, we lost that game, but did you work your butt off? Yes. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you can learn from it? Yes. So they're transforming the kid to take those lessons, because you're right. Losing is learning. Failure is an opportunity to learn. For example, in here, when we lift, you're doing let's say you're doing a 1-rep max back squat, and you can't lift it, and you bail out of it. Mm-hmm. You have learned I can't lift that, right? So what do? You pick up the bar, put it back up, drop the weight. Well, actually, take the weight off, put the bar up, then pack it back on. But you drop it down by 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Wait a couple minutes, and then we're gonna go again with some spotters.
Yep.
So failure just shows you a top end. Do I want to push past it, or do I want to? Is that okay for me?
Yeah.
And those are great lessons to learn in life.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you don't need it, like on the 1 rep back squat, I don't really want to do that anymore. So I'm like, what's my 5 rep? Okay, I'll do 5, right? So I'm okay with and you learn these lessons like Braden, do you want to be like the Uber in baseball? Okay, well then we have to give up everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to. All right. Sometimes that is the decision, and that's the hard one. Yeah. Okay, so that was. This is good stuff. So parents, everybody. So everyone can relate to this. If you're a parent and you have kids, this is coming, right?
Yeah.
So this is fascinating to me. So understanding Tom's backstory of I played some sports. I got kids that play sports. It means a lot to me. He's also an intelligent man, but sports are big, and he's actually really good. So the other day, he's like, "How do I do a muscle up, or a bar muscle up?" I said, "It's like this." He's like, "Let me give that a shot." And he goes straight up. I'm like, "Yes, exactly like that." And there's a bunch of guys in the corner crying because they've been trying to get bar muscle ups forever. So he's really good at this. But so first we're going to talk about how you found CrossFit, how you found the garage, why'd you came here, and then how you felt coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how did you decide I want to try and give CrossFit a try?
Yeah. Well, there was back in, I think it was 2020. I think it was 2020.
I don't know. There was a weird time in 2020
isn't it?
where we
Was it
stayed home for 2
2021?
weeks for a year to flatten the curve for the
Right,
2 weeks for a year. And Woodstock, guys, and I know there are people in Australia listening, and you guys had it rough. If you lived here in Woodstock, you would be amazed at what we didn't do.
Yeah.
And we're still alive and okay. So
yeah.
it's just a weird world.
I'm almost certain it was 2020, and my buddy Aaron Vinson was here, and he's like, "Dude, you got to try this." And I don't, you heard about CrossFit. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do CrossFit, but I don't know if I want to do CrossFit." And he'd been doing it, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll give it a shot." So Aaron's the one who got me connected.
How do you know Aaron? How did you guys?
So yeah, Aaron and I go way back, actually college.
Did he live in Loganville also?
No,
I don't think I've ever asked him where he grew
I
up.
went to Kennesaw State.
Okay.
And
which, by the way, is like the largest school in Georgia now, right?
Yeah, it's one of them.
I think it's the largest school now.
Oh,
It's
wow.
massive. They bought Southern Polytech.
Oh, that's right.
And so it's huge.
It's blowing up.
Yeah.
We drove through there. It's like way different than what it was a commuter school kind of when I was going
Yeah,
there.
I knew
They were building everything.
Right.
And now, everybody else is enjoying it.
And they have a football team?
Yeah.
Have you gone to see them play football?
No, I haven't.
The Owls? The
Hootie Owls.
Is that what they are? I don't
The
know.
Owls.
Yeah.
Hootie Who.
Something.
Something like that.
Better than a yellow jacket. I mean, who's afraid of it just stings and it hurts
I
or
hate
whatever.
yellow jackets.
Yeah. Well, good. It's true. Everyone with anaphylactic shock syndrome, they're afraid, but nobody else. Yeah.
But yeah, so Aaron and I, we connected at Kennesaw State. Actually, a bunch of us guys got together to do a Bible study, kind of searching our faith and learning more about the Bible and what does it say and how does that shape our lives and all that. And Aaron kind of came alongside us, helped lead that. And I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And so we started hanging out. I'm like, he loves to fish. He loves to be outside. He's like play sports.
Yeah.
We were both in the same season of, I think he was married at the time. I was engaged and about to be engaged, and having growing up, he had kids. I had kids about the same. So we just had this like kind of living similar lives in a lot of ways. Got connected into the church that he was part of, Jubilee Church.
Yep.
Yeah, and been there ever since. And so, that was and he's just
He's a great dude.
Great dude.
I enjoy talking to him.
Definitely one of my best friends.
Yeah. I keep calling him my best friend, and he's like, "But I'm not your best friend." I'm like, "Dude,
I think he's got a lot of best
why
friends.
would you do that to me?" No.
Yeah.
So I will say, I was like, when y'all went on that big trip and came, like there's pictures popping up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I should have snuck in there somehow. If I would have known, I was
awesome
gonna
trip.
jump. That was a cool trip.
Yeah.
Next time that comes up, if you need the guy who'll drive everyone sober, I don't know. If you need the extra guy, I'll be the extra guy to carry stuff with you. That was. What'd you guys want? Not Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Yeah, it was Wyoming?
Wyoming, yeah.
Dude, that looks so awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
We spent 8 days out in the Shoshone mountain range, national forest there, this mountain range. And just the most epic. And
Doing
beautiful.
fly fishing?
Fly fishing, horseback, ride,
Yeah.
and we had a guide service.
Y'all
that was-
packed in though, right?
We packed in. We
Yeah.
had 13 mules pack all of our plus all the food and everything that they were cooking for us. Which
Come on, real men would catch their food in the river and cook it that night.
Yeah, we were eating so good. They like brought steaks, and I mean it was like gourmet meal every night. It was amazing.
Again, just like with your son, hire a guide. If you're
Yeah.
gonna do a trip like this,
Yeah.
don't half-ass it. Like,
no, for real.
this is like maybe you go again, but it's like a once or twice in a lifetime type
Oh, for
thing.
sure.
Right?
Absolutely. Anybody wants to plug, if you want to go out there, Boulder Basin Outfitters, Carl, phenomenal.
Okay,
guy.
I will find them and put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Also with Captain Piper.
Yeah,
I'll put
Captain
it in the show
Piper, yeah.
notes. So you guys can look down below and find the link to them.
Yeah, sure. But so anyway, Aaron, great dude. He's the one who got me connected.
Okay.
Here, he's like, dude, you got to come try CrossFit, this gym, and I'm like,
Which is funny. Do you know how he got in here?
no.
So Decker was in here forever.
that's right, Decker was
and he's
here.
like,
Yeah.
apparently he'd been saying you should try this CrossFit, and he's like, that's for idiots. Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to do that. That's stupid. And so Aaron is like 9 feet tall and like 47 pounds, and so you're like, he's like, my body is not going to work for this. The other day, I took a picture of him doing a pull-up when he was at a full, like his chin above the bar pull-up, and his muscles in his back were like, pa-pa. So I took a picture real quick, and then later on, I sent it to him, and he's like, where did you get the muscle filter? Because I don't have that many muscles. I'm like, no, dude. I was like, damn, look at his back. You do.
Yeah.
But so he was like, I'm never coming in. That's like the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I mean, there is that. And we've talked a little bit about this, the sort of what CrossFit maybe was. I don't know. It maybe still is in some places, but what it is here is not what I had in my mind, which was like, go as freaking hard as you can, as heavy as you can, as fast as you can, and then
throw up on my shoes and your shoes.
You're
Let's
right.
do it. Yeah.
And I was my biggest thing being at my mid 30s and now in my late 30s, like I didn't want to get injured, you know, and that was my biggest concern. I'd heard of guys doing CrossFit doing that, getting injured. So
that was yes and no to all of that. So this is a great conversation point that I find. So one day in class, I don't even know. I want to say it was last month. It was probably a year ago. This is a problem when you get close to 50. I don't remember when things happen. my time frames are so messed up. But I went around the gym with my phone out, going like, hey. Were you nervous when you came to CrossFit? And the girls all said yes. And then the first guy is like, nah, I thought I'd give it a try. Why not? And then you were like totally nervous. I'm like, wait a minute.
Nervous.
You just PR'd in this workout and crushed it, and you're saying you were nervous. I'm like, why? So we never really came back to it.
Yeah.
So what made you a little nervous to?
Yeah, I think I didn't know the type of gym.
Okay.
Coming into it, first of all, and I didn't know what type of gym I was coming into. What was there going to be that pressure on me? So I'm kind of like, am I going to be kind of pushed beyond maybe some comforts there?
Right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but like I was saying
irrationally
pushed. That's what I was worried about, injury. Am I going to be able to? Can I do these movements? Can I? And then there was the whole and I try not to go down this road, but the whole comparison of like
comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm like,
now competition is fun.
Yeah.
But as long as you can put it on, like, we're just
And,
like today with the burpee.
Crossover,
burpee dumbbell crossover. Like, let's just race. It's just for fun.
That's right.
Nobody really cares.
Right.
But yeah, it's fun. Like, okay, I will push. There's nothing that makes you move a little bit harder than a little competition.
Yeah. Well, it goes back similar for me. It goes back to I've got a couple of guys in here that are good friends. Craig and Aaron, and we've
Andy
got this,
McCann, him
Andy,
too.
yeah, we're all.
Come on.
Well, I mean, we're all friends, right? I mean, but my point of that was we have this that we're talking about teamwork and being in a team. I feel like that's a team here, and it doesn't matter if those guys are here. We're all like a group doing this together. I think that's the beautiful thing about CrossFit. It is like the biggest difference from going up to Gold's Gym or whatever, and you're sitting there trying to do back squats by yourself or whatever. If I'm over here, struggling with my mates, it's like. Yeah, let's.
They're
go.
digging into you. They're like, let's do it.
Yeah,
in a safe, smart way. The coach is going to come up to you and be like, dude, you shouldn't lift that.
Right.
Go, okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, and so I mean, I guess coming into it, not really knowing, like going back to like this, like okay, what am I getting myself into?
Right.
It's just new. It's a little I was a little nervous coming in, but I think it became very evident very quickly to me that okay, this is not what maybe I had
Right.
in my mind in terms of
So
CrossFit gyms are.
YouTube or TV or whatever does play it wrong for us. Like they will sensationalize anything that goes wrong, which really nothing really. I mean, we've been doing this for 15 years, and there's a handful of things that have happened, and usually it could come down to hold my beer. I'm gonna try this stupid thing. Like I told you, don't do that. And they do it anyway where you're not looking. But it's a very anyway. But in 2013, that was like probably the hottest era of CrossFit. Like you could basically just put like CrossFit broken body. And people are like, I'm in, let's do it. Like it's called broken body. We're gonna break it, right? and it was, you just come in, there was very little coaching. I mean, we tried, but it was, here's the workout. If you can't do it RX, I'm gonna shame you. And you should throw up on my feet and your feet. And our gym necessarily wasn't that, but the prevailing mode of operation of every gym was, you better show up with your bro shirt on and like your weight belt and let's do this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so you pull that back over time. We're like, look, there's average people out there that need help or normal people. And CrossFit is the shortest path to fitness. It's cross-functional fitness, constantly very
100%.
functional movement executed at high intensity with a coach who's going to watch you. It's like the cheapest coach. Like we'll pay for our kids. Like I for soccer, I pay $2,000 for the season or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she goes 3 times a week for an hour. That's it. And I'm like, okay, the dollar per hour, I'm paying like $50 a session, right? And here
Right.
it's like $5.70
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's crazy what we'll pay for our kids, but we won't pay for ourselves. But you were right to be wary because the visual aspect that we all put off was CrossFit is crazy. We climb a rope with the bar in our hand. We don't do that. That'd be really hard.
That's a
to do.
funny visual, though. I love that.
Yeah, I can't even make it up there. So it's part of the idea of this podcast, or even me doing some of the. I put some stuff on YouTube and social media. The YouTube is so it'll live there, so people can see it. The podcast also, so it'll live there, and people can go, well, what is it like? Let me talk to a real person, or listen in on conversation of a real person who, I mean, by all rights, is very athletic, and I can say, try a bar muscle up. You're like that? Oh, I'm up. And even you are like, I'm a little nervous about coming in. Should you have been?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, especially
It's good to be wise and cautious because you don't know what type of gym you're getting into.
Yeah,
But-
right. I think that's the you didn't know. I did have a little bit of an idea because I had Aaron Vince. He's like, come on, this is
Yeah, if he's 9 feet tall and 47 pounds, I should be able to do this.
That's right. But so I mean, I having that backdrop, and then I got in here, it was like I knew exactly this is different. This is. And I think my first workout, Jamie remembers this, where I was, and I think I got ab sore for 2 weeks, and I couldn't come back.
You did 150 sit-ups too, and I was like, bro.
Yeah, I was like, let's do it. Yeah.
That sounds so familiar. Did somebody just do 90 GHD sit-ups?
Yes, I did that too.
Tom Jenkins did. That's not what I did.
So I will say this, it does make you fit enough to want to try things that potentially we
Yeah.
shouldn't be trying. So the other day, it's probably 6 months ago, a memory popped up on Facebook of 8 years ago, me doing a legless rope climb. And then, so somebody's like, can you still do that? And I'm like, hold my beer. So I sat on the ground, put a little chalk in my hands. And as I'm going up, I'm like, I'm almost 50. I probably shouldn't do this. Looking at the video side by side, I was actually much smarter. Like, okay, a little bit of caution. Like last time, caution in the wind. We're doing this thing, right? But it allows us to do some things. We're fit enough to do it, which in life is great. Hey, do you want to go up Stone Mountain? Yeah, sure, let's go. I'll grab a bottle of water. I'm in.
Yeah.
Do you want to do 90 GHD sit-ups? I think I could try that, but maybe we should say no.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that Annie was your first workout. That is a killer.
Tough. Yeah, that was tough.
So
But-
for those that don't know, it's I think if I remember right, it's 50 sit-ups and 50 double unders, then 40, then 30, then 20, then 10.
Yeah.
And by the next day, you're like, what's wrong with my stomach?
Yeah, I was so ab-sore, but I loved it. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, and again, you had this group together doing
Right.
this. I love that aspect. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize how much I'd love that, and it brought me back to that team sport, that team feel that growing up playing sports that I really enjoyed, and having my mates, having people, getting to know people. I think that's been so cool. There is that. I mean, definitely the community of in the garage
Right.
that is togetherness.
Right.
And you see people from the afternoon classes. You're like, hey, and I'm like, we're liking each other's things on the Wi-Fi. Like I know, anyways.
Yeah.
Just getting to know people, and then it's also great having some good friends in here that
Yeah.
we're working out together, pushing each other.
Mutual adversity,
Yeah.
it's like shared bonds. So
Yeah,
you want it's like in basic training, like you
Yeah.
build bonds when you go through adversity. Now you don't want like again artificial adversity.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want like
Right.
bad things happening and we have to like go through adversity together.
Yeah.
Let's work out. That's adverse,
Right.
and then you work out together.
When those bad things happen, like I just share this. My dad passed away
that's right. Yeah,
2
just-
weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and super tough. And sudden, but the love I felt like from this gym,
Right.
from my community
Right.
and people coming, because and again, those relationships and bonds were formed in these artificial adversity times,
Right.
right? We're just growing together.
Well, and that's what sports is.
Yeah.
It's adversity, but you want to build together.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. You mentioned I wrote down community as you were saying community. I'm like, oh, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
If you go to to me a very large difference between can't I just do this at Lifetime? I mean, yeah, you can totally do this, and everything's online. It's all free. You come to a gym, a CrossFit gym, if you want coaching, mentoring, and accountability. Weirdly, the other thing is community, which isn't really advertised. I think everyone's got a community. It just depends on their flavor. So I'm sure my buddy who has a gym down in Kennesaw, his community is going to be a bit more aimed at competition in games because he went to the games. So he has a flavor like that, right? So I suppose every gym sort of takes the flavor of the owner's disposition. So I like happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as their 90s. So if you like that, come to the gym. If you don't, you probably don't want to like us, right?
Yeah.
So if you're at Lifetime and somebody came up to you to help you with your back squat, super awkward.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, but it is.
Yeah.
But if you're here and you're doing a back squat and the coach is over down the way helping somebody else and Timmy looks at you and says, hey, Tom, you're like, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
And so there's a helpfulness, but also a community of fun. Like apparently we're all going to go play pickleball. Now,
That's right.
Brady is going to get us, we're going to have team CrossFit Garage and pickleball, and we'll crush everyone. Not at the beginning, but by the last round, because we'll all be healthy and fit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You'll all be
We'll be able to
tired.
outlast all the pickleballers.
That's right. That's how we'll win. Okay, so that is good stuff. Anything else? If you're a middle 30-year-old guy and you're thinking, hey, I want to get my health and fitness back, should they come in here?
Oh, absolutely.
Should they be nervous?
I don't, not the CrossFit Garage.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you can come in here and you're going to get solid coaching, people that care. You're going to get, and what I love too is, and I do this, and I think we all do, is the workouts are what they are, and then you can take them and scale them for what
That's right.
meets your, like, you might have some limitations, and that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
don't let those limitations stop you from, you know what, I can't do a pull-up, but you know what, I can do
A ring row.
I
Something.
can do a push press. I can do, something like, so what
Yeah.
just don't let those limitations stop you from coming in. And I think those things like, oh, I've got to be able to do
Right.
all these things, and you don't.
No.
Like, just come in, just show up.
Right.
Like,
Well, that
show
is the
up.
secret.
Yes.
I joke, and anyone comes in late, I'm like, and that's the secret to CrossFit. And so really what the secret is if you literally just show up for a year, you will be healthy and fit.
for
And
sure.
or if you ride the bike every day, you'll crush it like Matt. Yeah, he already walked out the door. Everyone's always impressed when him or Tim, when they get off the bike, you're like, how did you bike like that on that stupid instrument of death? So I'll say this thing when I'll tell people, feebleness is chasing you down. So we're getting older and feebleness is after us. We're doing things in here to push feebleness away. So a buddy of mine, Cam, he just started doing CrossFit a few months ago. And his big thing was, I don't want my kids to have to put me in a home because I can't do things. So we have you, like you said, hey, I can't do a pull-up. What do I do? Yeah, we're going to help you scale and modify. We may even scale and modify enough that, wow, look at that. A year from now, you actually can do a pull-up. So we want to help grow you there rather than, I hate it when some doctors or medical professionals will say, "Oh, your knees hurt. Don't use your knees." You're like,
Yeah.
how is that even going to work?
Yeah.
Which we've had people come in here and say, the doctor said, "Don't use my knee," or the other route I could do is get super strong with my leg. I'm like, well, I'm glad you found us because we
Yeah.
will help you do
Yeah.
that. That's what we do. So, okay, we're gonna do some questions that I've got
Yeah.
geared up for you,
Okay.
and
So-
you can say pass if you're like, oh no, I can't answer that, or if I don't know, you can just
Yeah.
think it's too detailed or whatever. What was your first job growing up?
My first job, I pizza delivery guy.
Oh, okay.
I made pizzas, and that was my
So
first.
your
job.
car, or you were just making the pizzas?
I was doing both.
Okay.
And it was Mercer Mia's Pizzeria, a local place there in Loganville. That was my first job. It was a great job.
There is it still there?
No.
Okay.
It's gone.
Did they pay you in cash?
No, they paid me.
It was a
did
W-2?
tips. Yeah, it was a W-2 job.
Okay.
Yeah, it was straight up. That was like my first real job. I think I was 16 at that point or whatever. I mean, I
When you
did
got
a
that
lot of
first
other
check,
jobs. Yeah.
were you like, they really just paid me all that money?
It was amazing, yeah. And
Yeah.
I was getting tips too, and I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, I shouldn't have been delivering pizzas at 16. I think there's some rules.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think you have to be 18, so maybe not.
Really? I know you have to be. Let's see. I think you can serve alcohol at 16. You can sell it at 18, and you can buy it at 21. There's like weird
yeah.
rules about because I was a Chuck E. Cheese employee.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, and I was giving out beer, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't actually do that." I'm like, "Oh, well, I mean, how was I supposed to know that?"
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually Chuck E. Cheese as well.
were-
so I
you
was
were
a
in the
guy.
suit?
Yeah, and the guy so stupidly, I mean, kids mess with kids. This is in the '80s, and people are different back then. But they're like, "Hey, Andy, when you're in the suit, make sure you talk." As a girl, so of course I believed her. I guess it was a higher voice. She's like, "Make sure you talk really loud because they can't hear you with the mask on." I'm like, "Huh." I thought Chuck E. Cheese never said anything. I know.
Yeah, she got you.
Oh, she did. So I get out there and I'm like, "Hi, kids," and they're like, "He talks." I'm like, "Oh no, she did not."
You just ruined some
Oh
kid's
yeah,
life.
there was so many stories from me and Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, it was. I think it still exists. It's the one over in the Stone Mountain. No, I guess it's not Stone Mountain area anymore. It's oh man, back in the Parkview district. I can't remember where I
Yeah.
lived. Okay, so what is something that your grandparent or parent taught you that you're like, well, that's super valuable now? Probably fishing patience,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I was going to say, like, the art of fishing. I mean, I think, and when you think about that, it is, for me, the full gamut of, how to select a bait. How do you tie it on? Like, what
that's the
setup?
trick right there. You just don't do a little square knot.
Right. I mean, there's all kinds of things like that, and I love that both my grandfather and my dad taught me those things. And even as a kid, like my dad, I can just remember, hey, cast it right over here. Like, this is where they're at. Teaching me those things, and then it's like the patience of it. Hey, you got to be patient, slow it down. All these things. So I think all that really like taught me a lot. And there's a lot, I think, in fishing that you can learn about life. I mean, like you said, patience.
Patience is probably the biggest one right there.
And being in nature and just enjoying that time, and
And if you're playing club sports all the time, you'll never be able to take your kid fishing.
yeah.
And then they're going to graduate and go away. And you'll be like, I forgot to take him fishing.
Yeah.
Parents, man, listen to this lesson. Slow down. So we used to live in the woodlands, and there's a creek that runs back there. And I would go get the fishing poles from Walmart, the little crappy
ones,
Zipco, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we would like toss over a rock, grab a few worms, and put a bobber on there. And we would just go to the bend in the creek and drop a hook in. And you have to get these little teeny
right.
hooks because there's a little teeny tiny fish.
Yeah.
But the kids were like,
loved it.
yeah, and they still talk about, remember those fish we used to catch? They were huge. I'm like, to them, they were only 4,
Yeah.
but they were like, the size of like your keys or whatever. It was so tiny.
They
But
love that.
it's taking time and being an active, involved parent to teach them those lessons.
Absolutely. And they remember that slowing down. I love that you said
Right.
that. Just slow it down to be able to, whether it's fishing or if that's hiking or if that's just reading a book. I don't know, whatever it is with your kids, like slow down.
So basically, give them an iPad at every moment.
Yeah, no. Don't do that.
Totally kidding.
Don't do that.
Now, there are times for it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
I'm not anti-screens or whatever, but
Yeah.
I definitely, we need to get off those, get outside, do some
Right.
things, slow down. Don't be going all the time, with sports or school. I mean, there's so much that can take you away from that. And then
Right.
you look up and you're like,
Wow.
I haven't done anything with them,
And they go to college, and I think it's about 13 where they realize they don't want to hang out with you. So you have up till about 13 to help them understand that you are with them, and you will be anyway. So parents, if you're listening, 13 is that weird age.
I know.
Maybe that's a freshman. Maybe that has to do with going into high school. I don't know.
It probably is something. I know right now my son, we've got a trip coming up. We're going fishing. He's so looking forward. He's like, Dad, I'm so looking forward to crab. We have crab traps, and we set them up. He's like, I'm so looking forward to catching crabs with you. And sounds kind of weird. Like trapping
That's awesome.
crabs.
Yeah.
Not that. But but I love that he's just got this excitement. We're so we're gonna do this, and I'm like, he's 13. I'm like, I hope this keeps going.
Right. Well, I think if you set up the traditions early.
Yeah.
So I don't remember who told me this, but it was like kids look at tradition as security in their family life. So I'm like, okay. So on Labor Day and Memorial Day, we go to Camp Ocoee. It's a YMCA camp. There's a family camp, and we rent out this massive lodge. It's got 7 big rooms, and we invite a bunch of people to go up there, and we just hang out in the water, in the woods, and whatever. And the other day, I was like, hey guys, maybe we don't do that. Maybe we'll come up with something else. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
No, we're going. I'm like, okay, I didn't realize, right? And then we also go to the Lenfoot hike-in December, like in the Christmas break era. And I'm like, well, if you guys want to go skiing, and there's 2 in college and 2 in high school, your breaks are different, so we can't go over spring break. We'll have to go skiing over the Christmas break, but that would cut out the Lenfoot hike-in. And they're like, we've been doing this for 15 years?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, make it work. I'm like, challenge accepted.
Yeah,
I don't know how to make this
they
work.
want to go. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so you're like, I'll build some time with them. But I think it's like what you're doing. You've set it up. So parents, it's never too late. Come up with something, and then just keep doing it. But I like that. You give them something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's like something in here.
Yeah.
What's your fitness for? Well, I mean, as a dad, I want to be able to provide a fun experience with my kid, or go out to the wilderness with my buddies and not be like, well, I can't go up that hill because I'm out of breath. So I want to live a good life and have those fun. So those occasions, those events, kind of give you that goal to shoot for or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
We did a fitness journey. So Aaron got you to look at CrossFit, and of course that means you could only come here. And all right, let's go with this. So far, what you've done in here, has there been any sort of high-low buffalo? So high is something awesome, low is like, oh no, cries, and buffalo is like surprising, interesting, fun. It can be anything.
Yeah. Wow. I think one of the highs for me was I think probably 2 things. One was finally getting double unders down.
Oh, yeah.
That one was, I worked really hard. It was so frustrating that, even today.
It is. It's a skill. You have to touch it a lot to get that skill.
And you have to get the right size rope.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing. I was talking to Brady earlier. I was like, dude, you need a longer rope.
Yes.
For
those that don't know, for double unders, the handles should come up a little bit above your shoulders.
Yeah.
For single unders, they should go a little bit below your armpits.
Yeah.
Which stinks if you want one rope. You just got to get the double under rope and then learn to jump different.
Yeah. No, but I think that was one of my. I was like, yes. Today I got 50 in a row today. I was like,
what?
It hit
Nice.
today. Yeah, that was good.
awesome. What about the crossover? So we did an old school crossover. You didn't even.
I was just like, I'm just enjoying double
double
unders
under?
right now. I got this. We don't need to introduce something different right now.
So I'm usually good at the weird circus tricks. Like they come up with something weird like that. Hey, today is a crossover. We haven't done that ever.
Yeah.
I've been doing CrossFit for 15 years. The last time I did crossovers was as I was a middle schooler. I'm like, man, challenge accepted. Hold my beer. It's an easy one. Let me try this. And I spent probably way too long trying to remember how to do it.
Yeah.
And eventually by the end, I'm like, there you go. I did like 25 in a row. Then I was like, my shoulders hurt.
Yeah.
So any low in Buffalo?
Yeah.
There is no low. This has been awesome.
I'm trying to think about the low. I thankfully I haven't. I was going to say, I haven't been injured. I think.
That's actually interesting because a lot of people do come up with the doesn't CrossFit injure you.
Yeah.
If you listen to your body and the coach, you're pretty much never going to do anything stupid. And make sure you warm up. So at 50, I warm up a lot more than most people.
Yep.
And I know my like today we did a lot of benching, and I'm like my shoulder kind of hurts when we do bench press, so I just did them light.
Yeah.
No problem.
Right.
Just listen to your body. Listen to the
That's
coach.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I really don't think.
What about surprising then? or buffalo?
The buff. Yeah, I would say. Oh man, I don't know.
Well, the other day it was funny. You came in and said, "Look, I'm just going to do a muscle up real quick on the bar because I feel like I was dreaming that I did bar
That's
muscle
right.
up."
I
I'm
think
like,
that may be.
that was pretty funny. I'm like, I don't know if anybody said, I think I did them. Did I really do them?
Yeah,
and you
it
jumped
was like
up and
early morning too. We did it like 6 a.m. I was like,
Yeah.
did I do that?
you
I was
did.
like-
and then
I
you
was
just
like,
jumped up,
yeah,
did one,
yeah.
and everyone's like, he just did a muscle up without
Yeah.
even like practicing.
Yeah.
To me, that's like
Yeah,
that was interesting, fun, and
that was
unique.
Fun. Yeah, that was probably in there for
Did
sure.
I really do that? You did. It was really good. You were like, yeah, the way you pulled up on those two, you pulled all the way to your hips. I'm like, I wish I could do that. When I pull up, I'm like at my throat, and then I've got this, so, like, I really have to like, and I've got weak arms, and I gotta like really dip through them, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm already up there.
Yeah.
Fascinating. That's it. Is that it? You're like,
Yeah,
actually, that was it.
I think that's been. I mean, CrossFit too. There is so much like little techniques, little
yeah.
tricks, little things that you're doing a power clean. You realize that bar is so far out from here, and I'm not pulling it close to my body.
Right, keep it close.
Keep it close.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, and then you're like, oh, that's a whole lot easier. You know.
So on August 26th, I think this podcast will come out after this, but for you, it's not August 26th.
Yep.
I'm doing a class at 10 a.m. It is going to be how to get under the squat clean. So I'm only taking 7 people. You got to have your camera or your phone to video yourself.
Yeah.
We'll set up boxes or whatever, and then every lift you do, we're gonna like video it and watch it and look at it. So keep your arms straight and pull down. If you can do that, you'll gain like 100 pounds, because almost nobody does it right. We all I think it's if you're. I am legitimately on the weaker side than most guys, my upper body, and because of that, I don't pull my arms because I'm like, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that heavy, though. For me, it's really heavy.
Yeah.
So if you're weaker, you don't pull your arms.
Yeah.
But if you keep your arms straight until your pulls are done, and you pull underneath, till you pull up to like your belly button, and then you
Yeah.
slide under, you're like, wow, I just did like 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because you didn't have to lift the bar that far. Anyway, so you should come. I think Aaron's coming, and that's all I can remember right now. There's like 4 or 5 people, so I'm only taking 7 people. But anyway.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So let's do this. If you had that billboard out there, I used to have it pointed to an arrow and said, hey, CrossFit right here.
Yeah.
If you could put any message, it doesn't have to be health and fitness. If you could put a message out to the world, like your motto, your ethos, or whatever, and so you bought that for 6 months, what would you tell the world? Or at least everyone on 92?
92? Oh, man. Oh, what would I tell the world? This is a good one. I mean, I'm a man of faith. I think that's something I'd want people to just. And
what would you tell them? What would you say?
Not the like condemning, like you're going to
Right.
But I don't know, like some message about like the character of Christ and who He is, something like that, just to get people thinking. I'm trying to think like I don't know the whole. Have you seen the ad campaigns for? It's there's a recent ad campaign they're doing for Jesus, like compassion, and anyways, there's one they're really good, but it's something along those lines, like just like.
So tomorrow, when you think of it,
you
can't tell me because I can't put it in there. I could probably write it in the show notes.
Yeah.
So everyone go to the show notes,
I
look
know,
down.
I'm trying to-
He'll
I'll
have it
have to think
noodled
about
out.
it,
That's
yeah.
okay. Keep thinking. I got
Yeah.
another question,
Yeah,
so maybe
okay.
it'll come up.
Okay.
Now we'll say this. So it is a fascinating thing to live what people would call the Bible Belt. So we live in Georgia, and so it'd be like, Florida, it's sort of a weird one. It's sort of a northern thing, so it's not really the Bible Belt. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a weird, but Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, South Carolina, maybe some into North Carolina, some Tennessee, right? So the devil came down to Georgia because that's where he's like trying to find us. So we're fighting him, right?
Yeah.
And it is interesting, the culture of us down here, there's just like church and being of faith is almost semi-expected, but as we get older, we take it more to heart. Like, hey, it means a lot more. Yeah. There's a lot of this character that, I mean, it's just being, it's I don't know, it's really ingrained in what we do down here. Mm-hmm. So I think some people, like, I've got family that live in England, and so I've seen some people from, like, you can go on the Buzzsprout and they'll tell you where people are downloading from. So I've got people from that area or Europe downloading. So I assume it's my family.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're thinking, why does almost every person that comes on the podcast talks about faith and religion? I'm like, no, just because it's like you guys probably talk about the monarchy.
Yeah.
It's just what you have. We don't have that, but we've got God and Jesus. Anyway, so it's not a hardcore press, but like what is it? Einstein said, it's better to have believed and it be wrong because you're just a good person, than to not have believed and it be true because the consequences are mighty.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. And I think he was Jewish, but
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, I would agree. I would put almost everybody has said something about be kind or something about character or and that faith side of it.
Yeah.
So, are there any books or podcasts that you either listen to or recommend out?
I like. There's a couple of them. One I listen to, Ask Pastor John.
Ask Pastor John. Okay,
Which
I'm
is
gonna find.
John Piper. It's all kinds of.
Wait, is this Captain Piper?
No, this isn't
Okay.
John Piper. This John Piper's a pastor, I think, of a church in Minnesota. But he's a Bible theologian.
Does he say, "Don't you know"?
No, he doesn't have that really. No.
Does that accent?
No.
All right, I'll find him and
Yeah.
put it in the show notes. Kelly also listens to Pastor Piper as well. Do you?
Yeah,
Look at that!
there
And
you go, look.
so she actually was on a podcast that's local. So Kelly was on Be Silent, Be Still.
It's called There's More.
There's more.
But Be Still is the thing.
And you posted on Facebook, come to the thing. I was like, oh, look at that. It was last night.
It was last night.
Yeah. So you got to post sooner.
Sorry.
But it was for women.
Last minute. It's all women.
Yeah.
You would have been.
No, but I have women in my life. I could say, hey,
Totally.
yeah, you should go.
Absolutely.
And her husband also has a podcast
Yes.
called. Oh man, I listened to it. The picture they've got, the icon is very cool. Yeah, I'm stalling for you to find it as well. I posted it one time. It's called something, and they got a foundry. So it's a guy doing on an anvil, and it's like shaping men.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it's Jay Teresi.
Yes.
Did I say it right this time?
Yep.
I always say your name wrong. I'm sorry. I've only known you for 27 years.
Hold on.
Yeah, she's gonna find that. Okay, so you listen to John
yeah,
Piper. When
John-
Kelly finds it, she's gonna tell us.
I'd throw two more out.
Yeah.
One is there's one I like called The Art of Manliness.
Oh yeah, I've listened to that
Yeah.
one for a while. Yeah.
Brett McKay. And then he's got some interesting guys come on and talk about different things. And the third one is kind of more business side, but Bigger Pockets.
Yeah, I listened to that one
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about real estate. That was part of it.
yeah,
We'll give
yeah.
Okay, what was it?
Rediscovering Biblical Manhood.
Rediscovering Biblical
okay,
Manhood.
there it
And
is.
she's got, he has got a buddy who's local, but he's Australian. And just like any, true-blooded American, we can listen to British people or Australians.
My series Australian.
Yeah, see, why wouldn't it be? I didn't know you could do that. That'd be good. And so it's fun to listen to. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to hear your accent. Just keep talking to me. His name is something like Kang, or he's got an interesting name. I forgot his name now. Or
Yeah.
Chica? I don't know. It's something. Bigger Pockets.
Yeah, Bigger
So
Pockets.
real estate. We didn't even talk about that. So there is a podcast I've done, a couple of them. One is Eric Richards, and he is like a entrepreneurial boss
Yeah.
for the Woodstock, Milton, and other areas. So
heard
he's
about
in here.
that,
He's got a 2-hour podcast. We were going to talk. He was the initiator of the idea of CrossFit Garage. We didn't even talk about that. Like, dude, that was on the list. We
Yeah.
totally missed it. And then my buddy Glenn Grushow, we did a podcast, and he is at 50 getting into the world of real estate.
I love that.
Yeah, and then of course I've been doing it since we accidentally got into it back in 2002 when we left our first house, and then said, hey, let's rent it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because any idiot can do this apparently.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm an idiot. I can do that. So what's your first? We'll do this one. What's your first step for the real estate? What do you think you're
Yeah.
gonna do?
So
Single family, multifamily, syndicate?
Probably. So I have not done any
Real estate.
real
Yeah.
estate. So I've
Yeah, you have. You have a house. Yeah, so
I
you
bought
have
a
done
house.
some.
Okay, yeah. I think that would probably be the easiest thing to do.
It
Rent
is.
that out.
That means you'd have to move though.
We did actually take that back. We did have a lady live in our basement for a little while. So we
that's
rented
house
that.
hacking
That's
is what they
house
call
hacking.
that, yeah.
House hacking. I do really like the Burr method. I've heard about that, and
So that's BRRRRR. So
Yeah.
that's Bigger Pockets things. You
Yeah.
you buy, you rehab, you refinance,
repeat.
rent, and then
Rent,
repeat,
rent,
or
repeat. Yeah,
something
rent
like
to
that.
repeat.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bigger
Maybe
pockets,
rent
that's
is
good.
before refi. I don't know.
I
One
don't
of
know.
those in there,
But the idea is,
Yeah.
and then you can build upon that. So
Yeah.
did you listen to their episode where the guy said he wrote a book and it's like enough or hold or buy and hold or something? But they've had two people recently on, I think it's Bigger Pockets, and they were both saying you don't have to have 50 houses. You can do this with 10 and then be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
As long as they're paid off.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you can make $2,000 a month
Yeah.
even after the expenses. And that's
Yeah.
$10,000 a month if you had, well, let's see, 20,000. I can't do math on the fly. So I'm like, that's interesting because that's my idea is you don't have to have hundreds of doors or houses or units. You could just like buy and then work hard to pay them off. And then, so that's the Dave Ramsey approach. I like
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey's Get Out of Debt. There should be a podcast that already came out that I just went through some debt stuff. But if you can get everything out of debt,
Yeah.
then even if the economy turns, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because there's the payments you have to make are super low.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
Yep.
I guess no, you can talk. We've already had several visitors come through. I think the trick of it then is to figure out what is your goal and what is
Yeah.
your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
And then does your wife agree?
Yeah, no, that's true. I think, for me, I am more on the buy and hold kind of model. I like that. I like holding assets. I like,
Yeah.
versus the, versus the short-term rentals.
Then you're like,
And,
there's a lot of activity.
And I think something that doesn't require as much from me right now in my job, man, I think in a perfect world for me would be, I'd love to get, I had this recently. I'm not, I didn't grow up with parents that were very entrepreneurial. I mean, they kind of had jobs and, so that was all kind of new to me and kind of
Bigger Pockets is a great one to listen to.
Yeah. So, but in the last, 5 years or so, there has been this little bit of like, something in me, it's like entrepreneurial, like I want to start, and be able to move out of. I'm in a corporate kind of position, and I love my company. I love the team. I'm in a leadership role there, and it's been great. But there is this like churning that's happening. It's like, now what can I do, or how can I? And maybe that's part real estate, part a lot of other things. I don't know, but to kind of work my way out of that over time, And so for me, I'm not like risk tolerance. You mentioned that. I was like, I'm not interested in like, I'm quitting everything. We're going to go all in on this.
Right.
It's like, I want to be methodical, thoughtful about it. and approach it.
W-2 is a great thing to have to help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
And the rough thing, so I am not W-2. Nothing in my world is W-2, which means it's all on me, which is great, because if I don't want to work today, I can almost tell everyone, leave me alone. On the flip side, I get a call at 10 p.m. I go to bed by 10 p.m. So my phone rings and it's renter. I'm like, damn it. Like, I'm not going to answer it. And then they text and it says leak. I'm like, okay, well, I got to call them back now because there's a water leak. So sometimes when you're the entrepreneur, it doesn't end. I'm on vacation and they're like, the house is flooding. I'm like, can you turn the water off? How do I do that? So YouTube has been a huge saver.
Yeah.
One, I can fix anything because YouTube has a video on it.
Yeah.
And then two, I can make videos of the house, of the thing they need. Like, hey, if you live in 123 Main Street, this is how you turn the water off on the house. And so now there's a video that I can send them directly, and they're like, oh, that's how you do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's actually, that you literally just turn some knobs. They make it like easy. Please just turn the water off so I don't have to pay thousands of dollars in water damage. And then the other thing that I've done is try to keep it local. So we'd only buy things that are basically in the Woodstock, 30188-ish zip code. That way,
nice.
You're like, oh, something
Well, if
happened.
you're managing, it sounds like you're managing yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not running around to the other side of Atlanta.
No, I don't think there's any reason to pay someone money to manage because it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, any idiot can do it. Now, I am any idiot. So with Zillow coming out and YouTube, and then all the easy ways to pay, all the electronic payments,
Yeah.
the hard stuff is pretty much done. Like, I don't even have to like they have Zill estimate. Like, this is what you should be renting your house for. I'm like, oh. I trust them, but everyone else does too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if they're wrong. That's what everybody is saying. And as long as it's making you money, it's worth, right? Okay, I'll do that number. And then they'll do contracts on there. They'll actually do all the, when you like review people's.
Oh, background check?
Yeah, background check.
Yeah.
They'll do the background check for you too. If you want them to, I'm like, yes, I would love for you to do that for me. So they have made it so easy. It's like if you listen to Bigger Pockets, they're like, we have the deal machine, right?
Yeah,
you can
that's
like, they want us to do it.
Yeah.
So it's just taking that first step. The thing I wouldn't do is do just one house. I'm gonna do one and I'm gonna call it quits.
Yeah.
it's just annoying.
Yeah.
So if you're already going to do it, then have like 2, 3, 4
Yeah.
kids. It's not extra. Like having 100 houses would be hard work.
Right.
Having 10, it's not really that hard work.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Just don't be a jerk and fix your own stuff.
Yeah. That's,
So if you're out there in the Woodstock area, Tom's looking for some help. If you need help getting into real estate, I'm happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
And this is what I do for a living. Any other podcasts or books that you would throw out to people?
oh, I'm not really reading much these days.
What about listen? Do you listen to any books?
I don't really listen to
No.
books either.
So I don't read because I'm dyslexic, and
Yeah.
and when I found Audible.com,
Yeah.
and now I guess Amazon owns them, I listen to so many books now. Yeah, and podcasts. I listen to so much stuff. It's a great.
Yeah. I need to do that more. That's something that I do want to challenge myself more.
If you're in the
Yeah,
car-
I have. Yeah, that's right.
Listen to
That's
something.
Listen to something. Yeah.
Unless you're Danny, Coach Danny never listens to anything. Not even me. She's like, no.
I watch TV in the car.
Oh, do you what?
Oh.
But Danny can multitask. I've never seen anybody work the way she can work. She has like 19 things going on, and then she's also doing math, like calculus
That's-
math
that's
in her head
impressive.
for spreadsheets. I'm like, how? And she's listening to the conversation and saying, no, that's not true. I'm like,
And watching TV.
yeah, I know. I'm like, wow, talk about multitask. For every one of you, there is a me. I can only do one thing.
I'm the same way.
and I'll
I've
even
gotta
do the
have-
one thing that well.
Yeah. I can have music going while I'm doing something. I
Yeah.
can't do that, but I can't. And usually it can't have words in it, though.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it needs to be like just
Yeah,
sound.
I can't do music because then I want to
Sing
it.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So-
I do TV.
Well, the other day,
And somehow TV just, I can focus if I have a TV.
I'm driving Evie to soccer. We're coming right by Black Rifle Coffee, so right by our turn. And I'm talking to her about CrossFit. And I get over and I turn in and I come into CrossFit. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. So I'm trying to take her to soccer practice, but I'm talking CrossFit. So I showed up at the gym at like 7 p.m. No, of course, nobody's here because everyone's leaving. I'm like, well, now you're going to be late to soccer because she's like, what happened? I mean, I don't know what happened. I was
Short-circuited.
I can't even do one thing right. Give me two things to talk
hilarious.
about. Yeah. Okay, so if you're in the Woodstock area, you're looking
Yeah.
for a gym, you're looking for help, we are a place, our motto is we are happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. If you are thinking you're going to the games, we're not the gym for you. I would say if you think, hey, I think I can go to the games, come to the gym. If you can beat me and Tom, you're probably going to the games. Maybe not probably. That's a good step, right? If you're not beating us, then you're probably not going to the games, right? Or, hey, take a year to learn stuff, and maybe we've had people move on and they go to a different gym, like Brandon's gym. He went to the games, so go to Brandon's gym, CrossFit Bound. He can probably help you get to the games. If you are just a normal person, that sounds weird. Everyone's normal. If you're a type of person where it's like you're 40 or 50 and you're thinking to yourself, I haven't done anything, I've lost out 20 years, I don't know what happened. This is a place where you can come
absolutely.
and we will help you get healthy and fit. You do not have to be healthy and fit to start CrossFit. It's the shortcut for healthy and fitness to get there a little bit faster. So anyway, you can find us at CrossFitGarage.com. You can email me, Andy at CrossFitGarage.com. I know, super strange email. I did just start putting Facebook ads back out there, and they're like, it's super, super cool. Facebook is like, they realize it's idiots like me trying to put ads up. They're like, just upload a bunch of pictures, upload a bunch of words, and we'll just make it for you. I'm like, oh, well, how about that? And so I think the ad that is out is it just says www.crossfitgarage.com, and then it's putting up different pictures. I'm like, I don't know, I would have chosen different words, but whatever. And it's only been one day, and I think this one picture, it's like the picture of Jeff. He's a 60-year-old guy doing kettlebell swings, and then a picture of all of us at, I don't know, whatever workout it was. We took a picture with like 30 of us.
Murph or something like
Yeah, maybe that was, I don't know. And so those two pictures have gotten tons of like 2,000 in one day, like views, clicks, or whatever. And the other 4 pictures they picked, which I thought were super cool, 0. Which means don't ever listen to yourself because you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, guys, so we're having fun here. You'll get to compete with Tom. He's always either at the 6 a.m. class or the 7:30 a.m. class. If he can help at 7:30, because that's where his bros are.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. You got to get that class on. And we're just here to help you guys. All right, Tom, thanks so much for being here with us. Guys, if you need us, we are just down the street.